Curfew has been imposed in Leh, and Ladakh is in turmoil. Ladakh has seen one of its worst violent clashes in the last several decades.
At the center of these protests is Sonam Wangchuk.
रास्ते पर न चलें, हिंसा के रास्ते पर, ये मेरे 5 साल के कोशिशों को नाकाम कर देता है.
Around 4 people have died and more than 80 people have been injured.
Sonam Wangchuk, that has left 4 people dead and over 70 injured, including police and CRPF personnel.
Over the riots or the violence which were ignited due to the demand of Ladakh for statehood and its inclusion in the 6th schedule of our Indian Constitution.
3-4 बार सोनम वांगचुक एक छोटे से इंसान पर वो पूरा दोष मढ़ते हैं. पिछले चुनाव का वादा था कि आपको 6वें शेड्यूल में लाएंगे. उनमें से बड़ी आवाज मेरी थी.
Now, it is not as simple as it looks. It's very complex and very intricate issue because Ladakh as a region in itself is very complicated one. Ladakh is a region in the northern part of our country having a very fragile ecology. Now, people of Ladakh since the last 6 years have been demanding a restoration of statehood. Plus, what they have been demanding additionally is inclusion of them in the 6th schedule of our Indian Constitution. Alongside that, one prominent figure in these protests is Sonam Wangchuk. You must have heard of this person in the movie Three Idiots. Now, Three Idiots movie is said to be loosely based on the life of Sonam Wangchuk. And while all this is going on, climate activist Sonam Wangchuk has ended his 15-day hunger strike after appealing to the youth to maintain peace in this 5-year-long movement for autonomy.
मैं अपील करता हूं लद्दाख के युवा पीढ़ी से, रास्ते पर न चलें, हिंसा के रास्ते पर. ये मेरे 5 साल के कोशिशों को नाकाम कर देता है.
Now, it is not as simple because Ministry of Home Affairs and sources related to the ministry have suggested that it is Sonam Wangchuk himself who is to be blamed for these violent clashes. Because in multiple times in some of his speeches, according to the Ministry of Home Affairs, he has repeatedly told people to get inspired from Arab Revolution or Arab Spring or also the Gen Z protests in Nepal, which is why several sources believe that due to his provocative speeches, the violent clashes erupted. Now, what is this protest all about? What are the demands for the people of Ladakh? And what is the response of the government in this regard? All these things we'll be trying to understand in this particular session. Hello, my name is Preetpal Singh and you're watching Perspective. Now, as we all know, that Ladakh is a very fragile ecology. It's having a very fragile ecosystem where foreign tourists who come to Ladakh pollute it very regularly. And people in Ladakh, they're indigenous. And 90% of the people in Ladakh, they are from scheduled tribes. Now, in such an area, definitely politics and autonomy is a very sensitive and intricate issue. And to understand the genesis of this issue, you have to trace back to the year 2019, when abrogation of Article 370 happened. Before that, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh was one, which means Leh Ladakh was a part of Jammu and Kashmir state. But after 2019 Reorganization Act, Jammu and Kashmir became a separate union territory and Ladakh became a separate union territory. However, the condition was Jammu and Kashmir got a legislature, but Ladakh did not get a legislature. Now, that was one contentious point which the people of Ladakh did not like, because always having a legislature gives people voice. And which is why Ladakh people felt that their voice is being snatched away by the central government. However, when this Reorganization Act was passed, people of Ladakh were very happy. But still, there were certain sections which were still not happy because of not getting the legislature. See, after that, because of a lot of issues being combined together. See, as I always tell you, it's not a very simple topic. It's a complex one. It's intricate and it's involving economic dimensions to it, environmental dimensions to it, political dimensions to it, and social dimensions to it as well. We'll see one by one how it is related. See, first of all, environmental dimension. People of Ladakh are fed up with foreigners, or not just foreigners, but even domestic people coming into their region and polluting it heavily. Plus, additional to that, foreign businesses, foreign investors, and plus Indian investors from different states are coming into the area of Ladakh and they are playing with its fragile ecology. So environment related issues in Ladakh are very prominent amongst the people, and people are agitated because their environment is not getting respected. That is one. Now, second is economic. Now, people of Ladakh, unemployment is at a very huge level. Now, because of the rugged terrain, because of the improper terrain, and because of it being in a height, because of that, employment opportunities in the region are very less. And also one more reason is due to improper education, improper skilling, and different other reasons. So unemployment level being high, economic conditions of the lot of sections of society not being that great, economically also people are suffering. So environmentally they are distressed, economically they are suffering, plus socially they are marginalized because 90% of them belong to scheduled tribe, but yet they are not having autonomy. Which the states who are involved in 6th schedule, they are having autonomy, but Ladakh people believe that since we are also scheduled tribe, we are not given that autonomy which tribes in Assam are getting, or Meghalaya are getting, or Mizoram are getting, like that, right? So this is in relation to society. Plus, additional to that, politically as well, Ladakh people believe that they are marginalized. Because of one seat in Lok Sabha, they are demanding two. One for Leh, one for Kargil. Additional to that, one extra seat in Rajya Sabha, which is why politically also they feel they are marginalized in the country. Now, in all four dimensions, because of this root cause being so much prevalent, people of Ladakh are agitated. But does that give them the freedom or the right to make the protests violent? The answer is strict no. See, the protest done by these people, which is definitely the right of individuals in our country, should definitely be peaceful. Now, that being said, without beating around the bush, let me just quickly state what are the core demands of people of Ladakh. The first demand is very simple: restoration of statehood, which means full statehood for Ladakh, restoration of legislative powers, having a proper legislature for Ladakh, and ensuring self-governance. That is the first part, that is full statehood. Second is inclusion in 6th schedule. Now, that reason I've already given you. 90% of people of Ladakh are scheduled tribes. They would want to be included in 6th schedule to protect their tribal identity and tribal rights and to get autonomy in decision making. Now, the third is to get a separate public service commission for specific recruitments in Ladakh, which means Ladakhis would only be employed in jobs in Ladakh. That is the third demand. And the fourth is the representation, that is politically getting represented, and which I've already told you that currently there is one Lok Sabha seat for Ladakh, they are demanding two, one for Leh, one for Kargil. Now, since we are very clear with the demand, let us simply understand what is the 6th schedule in detail. See, when we talk about 6th schedule, it is there in the Article 244 of our Indian Constitution. And 6th schedule of our Indian Constitution provides autonomous district councils, ADCs, with the legislative powers over land, forest, agriculture, water, health, and local policing. Now, understand one very basic thing. This Article 244 of our Indian Constitution, under which 6th schedule is present, it applies to 4 specific states. That is Tripura, Assam, Meghalaya, and Mizoram. Now, in these 4 states, autonomous districts and autonomous regions are made, which means tribal areas in these 4 states are made or developed into autonomous districts. And even in district, if there are certain different tribal groups, then they can be divided into different autonomous regions. And the governor of the state is having the power to organize, reorganize, alter boundaries, or rename districts in that state. Now, since autonomous districts or autonomous regions are made, in those autonomous districts, there are district councils, which are known as autonomous district councils. Now, those district councils involves the people from the scheduled tribe itself. And there are up to 30 members of these district councils. And 4 are nominated by the governor, and rest are elected by adult suffrage. Additional to that, there is a regional council as well for autonomous regions, for separate council for separate autonomous regions. So district council is there, regional council is there. But the question is, what does the district council and regional council do? See, they work for legislative functions, which means they can make laws in relation to land, which means within a state itself, tribal areas, they have the autonomy to make laws on certain topics like land, forest management, excluding reserved forest, of course, inheritance, local trading, etc. Plus, they can levy certain taxes on the people as well. Although one thing is very clear, that all laws require the assent of the governor. Additional to that, the council have a taxation power as well. They can assess, collect land revenue. They can impose taxes on different professions, trades, animals, vehicles, etc. And also they have the power to grant licenses for mineral extraction or leases for mineral extraction in the region as well. Now, overall, if we see, what establishment is trying to do over here is, it is trying to provide autonomy to the tribal areas in our country, especially in these 4 states who are a part of the 6th schedule. Ladakh's demand is simple. They want to be added to the 6th schedule so that people in Ladakh, they also develop autonomous district councils, autonomous regional councils, and they make their own laws rather than relying on the laws of the central government or what the Lieutenant Governor of the Union Territory thinks. That is one very, very important demand for the people of Ladakh, by the people of Ladakh. So now the last thing is we need to understand what is the government response in this regard. See, the government response is very, very clear. Government says that on the issue of statehood, earlier the people of Ladakh wanted to be separate from the state of Jammu and Kashmir and they wanted the union territory. Now we have given them the union territory. We have done what they wanted earlier, which is what their earlier demand was, so we can't do anything. Now second, in relation to statehood, the government very strictly has said that Ladakh is already having its autonomous councils in the form of hill development councils. Government highlights already existing safeguards are existing. So we can't do much around that also. And additional to that, since you have to see one thing, Ladakh is very closely associated with the region of China. And our relationship with China is not really good. So if we grant autonomy to the people of Ladakh and region of Ladakh, central government's dominance in the region won't be there. But for national security perspective, central government's dominance in the region is definitely required. Which is why our Ministry of Home Affairs, which is why Defense Ministry, which is why the entire cabinet and the government itself is not willing to give that much power to the Ladakh region, because otherwise it might lead to lack of coordination in relation to defense related decisions in our country. Well, that is one very, very major reason which is given by the government. Now, what are your views surrounding this particular issue about this currently Gen Z violent protest going on in Ladakh, and what are the different ways through which it can be resolved? Do let me know in the comment section. I'll be very happy to read your comments. All the very best. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.